So this is another practice for support care workers or people who are on their feet all day, people who are working really long, hard days. Maybe you're stuck in a desk or a car all day, that sort of thing. Just a quick, short, sharp practice, just getting the body moving in different directions and to try and release a bit of tension and maybe also quieten the mind a little bit with some breath work. So the first one we're going to do is a reclining hip opening and chest opening sequence. So the feet, soles of the feet are together. Behind you, you need to make a pile of bolsters or if you've got sort of firm bed pillows or sofa cushions or anything, you can put as many layers as you like, as is comfortable for you. I bring them right into my lower back and then lie down and make sure you've got some sort of cushion or support under the head. Lying with the arms just coming open to the side initially. You can, again, depending on how high you are, I'm quite high up, you can support, you can have something else underneath the arms and the hands as well. This is, again, just another chest opening exercise for those of us who sit hunched up all day or are on your feet hunched up all day with poor posture, and also then just opening the hips a little bit at the same time. So I like to start with the arms out to the side to stretch the chest a little bit. And then we just close the eyes and focus on the breath. So slowing down the breath, taking deep, full, long breaths. If you're not used to doing much yoga or doing any exercise where you pay a lot of attention to your breath, you might really struggle to stay focused on it, and also to understand why the breath is so important. But we do, especially when we're stressed and on the go and have really busy, full lives, we don't breathe properly. We tend to have really shallow, kind of high up in the chest kind of breathing. And we want to slow it down and try and think of your lungs as a big receptacle, whether it's a balloon or anything that has a sort of three-dimensional quality to it, that you inhale and breathe and fill in all the directions. So the full lungs from the bottom all the way up into the collarbones, into the sides and into the back, rather than just this kind of little shallow breathing that we do when we're now kind of fight or flight, very busy, cortisol, stress leveled up kind of lives that we live. And if you've already forgotten about the breathing while you've been listening to me, take the attention back to the breath. And just for a moment, we can change the arm positions. So clasping the elbows above your head, if that's comfortable for you. Change the clasp of the elbows, and then again go back to focusing on the breath. So get yourself comfortable and breathe. If for any reason lying like this is not comfortable on your lower back, or if your hips start to become uncomfortable sitting like this for too long, you can change the position and bend the knees this way, maybe have them flop towards one another. Either way, just keep that breath going. And then release the hands. And we'll come up to sitting. So just for a moment, I want to think about the feet and the ankles. If you've been on your feet all day, if you're someone who doesn't have very comfortable shoes, or does other things, you're running a lot, we tend to have very stiff feet and ankles. So you can sit with one leg straight, or you can have it bent depending on what's comfortable for you. And then we cross the other leg on top so that the foot is hanging off the edge. So either with the leg straight and the foot's hanging off the edge, or if it's comfortable to stay cross-legged with the leg hanging off the edge. Then I want you to, with the same side hand, really grab tightly around the ankle, probably about 1 inch to 2 inches above the ankle. Hold it very firmly, soften the foot, and then just using your other hand, you're going to rotate your ankles. And keep breathing. So the foot is not doing the work itself. It's completely softened and relaxed, and the hand is doing the work. And then we change direction. Keep breathing. And then just slap the feet underneath a little bit. And then we change sides. So again, if you're very stiff in the hips, you might feel that this is better for your knee. For the, if you feel uncomfortable in your knees when you cross legs, keep the legs straight. Otherwise, this time I've got my left foot on top, holding above the ankle with my left hand really firmly, so not letting it move at all, and then relaxing the foot and circling the foot with my right hand. Keep that breath going. And then change sides again. Directions, I mean. And then snap the foot. So I'm going to take care of the whole body from the bottom to the top. Good. Then what I'd like, so if you've watched one of my other shorter videos, you might have seen this. But this is really good for the feet. So what I want you to do is sit in a kneeling position with your knees together and your feet and your ankles together. If you need some help really tucking the toes under with your fingers, you can do that. And then I want you to sit back on the heels and don't let the ankles splay apart. So for some people, this may be really, really, really uncomfortable and extremely intense in the feet. If you've got really tight fascia under the skin, under the feet, that might really be intense. As long as it doesn't feel like you're doing yourself any injury, you need to just sit and breathe through that. If the knees are not comfortable in any way, you could try different versions of the posture. Maybe have a cushion under the knee. Maybe you could have some sort of cushion of protection between the the bottom and the heels. The idea is I really just want you to get a stretch under the feet and breathe through it as much as you can. And obviously the more intense it is, the more you're tempted to kind of lean forwards like this. Over time, maybe you can just learn to sit back a little bit and keep the breath going. And then we just change foot positions for a few breaths. Now pointing the feet back. For some people this may be worse. If the tops of your feet are really, really tight or really, really bony, you could put some blankets underneath to kind of soften the pressure points of the feet. Otherwise you turn your attention to nice long slow inhales and exhales again. Good. Then what I'd like you to do is separate the knees slightly. So the toes are touching, but the knees are separated. We're going to come into a child's pose. So holding onto the feet if you can, forehead onto the ground if you can. Ideally the hips are quite low, bottom close to the heels. If this is really uncomfortable for you in any way, you could do a version just lying on your back. So you lie on your back and then hug your knees into your chest. Otherwise, if you can, you stay here for a couple of moments. And then bring yourself up. What I want you to do then is, we're going to stay in a child's pose, but I want you to walk the hands forward. So hands are in front of you. And then I want you to walk the hands over to the sides, so as far as is comfortable for you. And then I like to rest, so I'm going to my right, rest my left hand on top of my right hand. And then you press into the hands, both hands, to try and press your sitting bones down towards your heels. And at the same time, you're really stretching that open side of the body. And then try and breathe with your inhales into that open side of the body, so really stretching the muscles between the ribs. And then let's change sides, so walk the hands across. Opposite hand on top this time. So stretching and pressing into the hands at the same time. Really trying to get your sitting bones as low as you can. And then breathing into that open side. Softening and relaxing the head. And then walk the hands forward again. And then this time, keeping them forwards, tuck the toes back under again. And then you can sit back and press the hands into the floor. So you're really stretching and pressing your hands away from you at the same time. And trying to press your sitting bones towards your heels. So at the same time, you're getting a stretch up the sides, a stretch up the back, and into the undersides of the feet. Really releasing them. And then come up to all fours. And we're going to do good old cat-cow. So wrists are under shoulders, knees are under hips. Toes are pointed back. And then just moving with your breath. You just get a rhythm going with your own breath. On an inhale, you dip the belly, stick the bottom out as much as you can, lift the chest and the chin. So you're really stretching the front body. And then on an exhale, press the back up, rounding, pressing your belly into your spine. Chin comes to your chest. And then you keep alternating. So inhale, go into the cow, dipping the belly, sticking out the bottom, lifting the chin. Exhale, rounding the back. And keep going. Inhale, cow position. Exhale, cat position. One more. Inhale, cow position. And exhale, cat. And then come back to a neutral position and bring yourself up. We're going to come up to standing just for one brief moment. You're going to lean against the wall. Have your feet about a foot, 30 centimeters away from the wall. We're just going to come into a forward bend over your legs. If you have really, really tight hamstrings, you can bend the knees. Otherwise, if you can keep the legs straight, or you might want to bend the knees even just to come into it, and then it will straighten the legs. And you're going to just hang with your arms clasped at the elbow. So come forward, hang down. If you can, straighten the legs, And then we just stay there for a couple of moments, just breathing, softening in the upper body. So you really want the upper body to relax. And if you need to bend the knees to get that, then bend the knees. But then straighten the legs again. Pull up the kneecaps, engage the quads. And then to come out, you can slowly bend the knees, hinge up from the hips. And we're going to come down to the floor. We're going to do one more little back bend, just the most gentle back bend that we have, which is really Sphinx pose. So I'm going to do it facing you so you can see what I'm doing, but my legs are just straight and hip width apart behind me, toes pointed back if you can. I'm a bit space limited. The arms are a little bit like Sphinx arms, so we don't want them out to the sides. The hands and the wrists and the shoulders and the elbows are all in alignment. And then I want you to just think about lifting the chest, so you almost drag your hands towards you to try and draw the chest through the shoulders, and then you can just close your eyes and breathe. If it's a little bit twingy in your lower back, try gently engaging your glutes, your butt muscles, just gently squeezing them, and then breathe. And then we're just going to roll over onto your back for relaxation. And like in the resting, in the gentle practice, you could lie with your legs up the wall or on a chair, or you can just lie with the legs straight, arms flopping to the sides, legs just flopping open.